If you're anything like me, it's the training and it's grinding in the gym and it's being able to continue to improve yourself. That's the most important part of this sport. And if you don't have your health, you can't do any of that. And I am living proof of that right now. Before bodybuilding, I was an alcoholic. I worked construction and I smoked a pack of cigarettes a day. I didn't have much direction in my life. I didn't have many goals in my life. All that time I used to spend at the bar, I started spending at the gym, and I met a competitor at the gym and they introduced me to the bodybuilding world and I fell in love with lifting. I am IFBB Pro Jamie Pinder, and this is my story. Women's Physique was a way that women who had muscle had a place to compete where they can still keep their femininity and they didn't have to go to the extremes that the female bodybuilders did. My first big goal as an IFBB Pro was to make it to the very first Women's Physique Olympia. In 2013, when I won the Chicago Pro at my pro debut, that qualified me. So I was able to be part of history and be part of the very first time that the world got to see women's physique. You'll see women in this sport who, they do awesome for years, they're so conditioned, they look amazing, and then all of a sudden they disappear. Nobody hears from them again. And that's because they're dealing with all the shit I'm dealing with. I'm just one of the few who is willing to actually speak up and say something. I wanted everyone to see the reality of what this sport can do to you. And if you don't take care of yourself and if you don't make your health a priority, what can happen? I had a lot of girls that reached out to me right before the Olympia in 2018. Oh, how do you get such striated glutes? And how do you stay so lean? And how do you get there? And I tell them, I'm like, please don't try and show up as conditioned as I do. And try not to stay as conditioned as I have in the past, because that is part of the reason I can't be on stage this year. I'm having not only the issues with my back and my Lyme, but a lot of issues with my reproductive system. And women don't seem to realize that staying that conditioned is detrimental to their health. There's a reason why women, need a lot of drugs, they need a lot of cardio, and they need a lot of not eating in order to get as lean as I've got in the past. Because our bodies don't want to fucking be there because they're not supposed to be there. There's no other sport that demands the type of conditioning for the lengths of time that we need to be there, especially when you're at the pro level. I mean, every pro woman that I speak to feels the pressure of having to be on stage over and over again and staying relevant. Stay fucking alive. Don't worry about staying fucking relevant. In 2017, after my big flop at the Olympia, I had decided to try and compete at the Ferrigno Legacy, which was only a couple weeks after the Olympia that year. I was still very depleted, very dehydrated, and extremely lean. And I was training legs one day and I somehow injured my back and I tore something in my hip flexor. A year later, I'm still dealing with the same injury. Every time, the more work that I put into getting ready for a show, the more my body would break down. People ask me now, Jamie, what's next? What are you gonna do next? And the answer is, I don't fucking know. This year is the year of recovery, and this is the year of me just taking care of myself and getting back to representing in this sport and making sure that, or trying to make sure that the IFBB continues to keep women's physique what it was set out to be in the first place, and trying to help the young girls in this sport keep their health. Because when it comes down to it, if you don't have your health, you can't do this, and you can't be your best, and you can't push. And I think that anyone who truly loves this sport really loves that intense push that you can give yourself and that you do give yourself in prep. And I think anyone who's been an athlete and has been injured knows that that it takes a while to get that back after an injury. But I'm on my road to recovery, and I guess you guys will just have to wait and see what I do next.